The concept of God as a father is not a foreign idea that is first introduced to us in the New Testament. This concept is present from the beginning. In Genesis 4, we see Cain leaving the presence of Yahuwah and settling east of Eden before his lineage is presented, beginning with himself before the narrative transitions to Seth as a replacement for Abel, whom Eve only recognized as the promised seed after his death. This is followed by the genealogy of Adam, which begins with God, and continues through Seth, with Cain being conspicuously absent. So this book of the generations of Adam is tracing God's lineage. The next person we see called God's son is Jacob. God tells Pharaoh to let his firstborn son Israel go, or he will slay his firstborn. When Pharaoh refused, God didn't slay a figurative firstborn son of Pharaoh. He slayed the biological firstborns of all Egypt. The next person directly called God's son is King David, who is also called his firstborn. And he says that David's son will also be his son. Then we have Ephraim as the firstborn. And finally, we find a reference in Malachi. The word of Malachi is given to all Israel, but the primary targets are the priests. In the first chapter, God says that a son honors his father and a servant his master. Then he asks, if he is a father, where is his honor? And if he is a master, where is his fear? He then continues to rebuke the priest for perverting the altar. So in the first chapter, Israel is yet again the son, but the priest is also singled out as a son. In chapter 2, God calls the priest the angel of Yahuwah before rebuking Judah for marrying the daughter of a strange god, rather than continuing in covenant with his daughters to produce to him a godly seed. The angel of Yahuwah is a unique person that we see as God in human form, beginning with his appearance to Hagar. And when he appears, we can be sure that it is in regards to covenant. He is not identified separately from God, but as God in human form, which we also see in Zechariah 12 when Judah looks upon me, being Yahuwah whom they pierced, and mourns for him, being a third person, as the mourning for an only son. So taken with Malachi, this angel is priest of the Most High, and his son and servant that all other sons and servants are after the pattern of. In Malachi 3, we see that two angels are to come. The first prepares the way for Yahuwah, the second is the Adon, the angel of the covenant whom the priests seek. This Adon will suddenly or unexpectedly come to his own temple. So the temple of Yahuwah belongs to the second angel, who is the Son of Righteousness who comes with healing on his wings. So the Adon, the angel of the covenant, is both the Son and the Son, priest of heaven and king of earth. In Luke 21, Yeshua said his coming will be preceded by signs in the sun, moon, and stars. And this is always the case. There are 2 days unlike any other days in Scripture, days that God has pointed out to us with signs in the sun. The first is in Joshua 10, where the sun stood still for about a day as Joshua and Israel came suddenly and fought to defend the Gibeonites. The second is when he made the sun move back 10 steps on the sundial of Ahaz as a sign for Hezekiah. Ahaz was Hezekiah's father, and the wicked king of Judah, whom God gave Isaiah's sign of the Alma conceiving and having a son called Emmanuel to. And Alma is implicitly a Bethulah who has never been married, like Rebekah at the well, while Bethulah would be used for a betrothed virgin. In the first month of Hezekiah's reign, he tore down the altars and groves Ahaz had set up and restored the temple suddenly. Then he sent a letter throughout all 12 tribes to come observe the second Passover, and they feasted for 14 days. He appealed to this righteousness when he was sick, and God sent Isaiah to tell him he would die. God hearkened to Hezekiah, and he reversed the sun as a sign that he would add 15 more years to his life. As noted, these two events are connected by the sun, which was created for signs and to mark appointed times, days, and years. Psalm 19 compares the sun to a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, which is the same language Yeshua uses for his parables about becoming king. So these two anomalies in the sun are intended to grab our attention. I also want to note the times. In Joshua's event, the sun stood still for about a day. Psalm 90 tells us that a day with Yahuwah is as 1,000 years. In Hezekiah's event, the sun moved backwards on the sundial about 10 steps. A sundial has 180 steps. 15 for every hour, which is 1 for every 4 minutes of the 12-hour day. So 10 steps on a sundial is 40 minutes, meaning Yahuwah rewound time 10 steps or 40 minutes. These two time periods are not arbitrary. They culminate in the great singularity. And in this series, I am going to take you behind the scenes of that singularity to reveal the makings of the greatest story ever told. We will follow the Son to identify the two events of Yeshua's life that establish his true genealogy.